Hi, this is Rick Frederick, reviewing some case law with respect to criminal responsibility. This is some of the earliest law regarding criminal responsibility, Rex v. Arnold, about 300 years ago. So let's just look at the case. It's often referred to as the wild beast case, and it concerned a man named Ned Arnold, who was clearly portrayed as mentally ill, chronically mentally ill by members of his family and by members of the community. So he's a rather odd person who was often demonstrated episodes of strange behavior, animated behavior, things that we would normally consider to be good evidence of psychosis today. If you review the case, the actual case, you will see many long descriptions of his behavior as psychotic. So what happened was that Ned Arnold shot my Lord Onslow, who was out hunting foxes. Onslow was, the local ruler, lord, or whatever, and Arnold just walked up and shot him. There wasn't any stealth to it. He ran after he shot Onslow with a gun that, I don't know if it's a shotgun, but had shot in it. Did not kill Onslow, and one of the factors in this case in deciding that Arnold was criminally responsible was that he had attempted to purchase a heavier shot, which very well might have killed Lord Onslow, but he could only get rabbit shot. So there was this evidence that he tried to negotiate the purchase of heavier shot, that he had known what Lord Onslow was up to. He made statements that he was going to kill Lord Onslow. There wasn't anything about this behavior that could correctly be described as unplanned or simply impulsive with no thought. It was clearly a deliberate act. And he was found guilty on that basis. It was a deliberate act, notwithstanding all the testimony about his mental, and maybe even a severe mental disorder. And so some good quotes from this case are, it was already a established principle 300 years ago that if you are deprived of reason and intention, you cannot be guilty. So the issue in this case was not whether there was a new law to be derived. It was already established that you can't be guilty if you were incapable of reason or intent. And so really the conclusion of the jury, which I think was other lords of parliament, was that because his act was deliberate, then notwithstanding his mental disorder, he was guilty and could be punished. And this is a very famous quote. It's not every frantic and idle humor of a man that will exempt him from justice and the punishment of law. Of course, humor now is old-time mental health terminology. The four humors of man or humans explains their temperament. So that's just language they're using there. And then finally, there was an interesting discussion of whether he was a lunatic or an idiot. A lunatic, of course, being subject to the phases of the moon, would have intervals of madness, whereas an idiot was born cognitively compromised and would never recover from that. So it must be that a man is totally deprived of understanding and memory and doesn't know what he's doing, no more than an infant, than a brute or a wild beast. That is a person who is never the object of punishment. But because Arnold knew he had a gun, knew he wanted to kill Lord Onslow, went to buy shot or tracked him down, and then shot him, and not just anybody. That was evidence that he was not totally deprived of understanding memory, therefore he should be punished. So he was given a death sentence, but Lord Onslow himself set aside that sentence and just kept him in jail. He lived in jail for 30 years and then died. Okay, that's Rex v. Arnold. Thank you very much.